Thank you all for coming back. Recently it was requested that I do the type of ice cream that is in the cover of my avatar picture. It's a caramel fudge ribbon, and they could come out a number of ways with the method that I use, and I usually use a method where you could make several at a time. So we're going to get started, and at the end I'll show you these in a little bit more detail because each of them could be different. So basically we have a mixture that is about half translucent, half white. This is burnt umber. You're looking at half burnt umber to half translucent, and you're looking at half gold to half translucent. And then I add a tiny pinch of orange to make it a little bit more caramely. And I roll them into about 3 equal length snakes, but you want the chocolate and the caramel to be really thin compared to the vanilla, because you want it to be primarily vanilla with ribbons of the other color. So this is marbling. And a lot of you guys have seen me marble before. And I like marbling for ice cream scoops. The thing with marbling is that sometimes you just don't know what you're gonna get. And each ice cream scoop will be different. It is hard, if not impossible, to replicate any particular ice cream scoop like this. Like the cover avatar one is a one of a kind because it was marbled. And you can probably get pretty close to it. You could get exactly the same colors, but usually the stripe pattern won't be exactly the same. So see, here we're starting to get some nice striping. And we'll put this on an ice cream cone. I do have an ice cream cone tutorial that I will link. And I have some pretty interesting stripes here, so I'm just going to go with this. If you want it to have more of a twist and be more narrow, you just twist with your fingers. And this will help get the stripes closer together. If you had gotten it too thin, you could actually help condense your cane back by squishing towards the center, and that will bulken it up a little bit. And here are some interesting places for our ice cream. So the way that I cut my ice cream is I create a log about as wide as I want the scoops to be. I want them to be a little wider than they are now. So I'm just going to push and roll again, pushing towards the center. So see, it's pretty forgiving. And then I chop pretty much in squares because that's about how big the circle will be. And if you chop in squares, you could even decide where you're going to want your stripes to be. Now let's see. I do think this one is very interesting right here and has an interesting swirl. From here, if you want little specks of color to show, you could roll it in a ball now, or you could pinch the bottom closed before rolling it into a ball. But either way, it gets rolled into a ball. Okay, now if you have it as an ice cream cone, I like to paint the top of the cone with a little bit of TLS, just along the outsides to help your ice cream ball stick. And we're going to form a scoop of ice cream. I'm doing this instead of putting it in a mold, so you can actually see how I shape the cone. Many of you guys have seen how I've, not the cone, the scoop. Many of you guys have seen how I shaped the scoop before. So you definitely don't need to watch it if you don't want to, or you could fast forward to see the end results of this particular one. I move my ice cream scoop around, trying to decide what I want the top to be and what I want the sides to be. Usually I like some stripes coming downwards. And this scoop is a little bit small for this cone, so I'll choose a bigger one here. I thought it was a really pretty scoop, but it was a little small. So basically what we're going to do to form a scoop of ice cream is pull down the sides of our circle to let it overlap our outside of our cone. Sometimes that even undercovers, it even starts showing the layer underneath. But we kind of rough up the edges here of the bottom of the part of our scoop that hangs off. And then to texture it, we use a toothbrush. I like texturing the ice cream with a toothbrush because ice cream often looks kind of airy and has a lot of air in it. And you could kind of make sure that the ice cream is keeping somewhat in the middle of your cone as you do that. And you could rough up the sides a little bit more of the bottom of the cone. And it's actually good that this happened. I don't know if you saw that when I was turning it, it pulled some of it away. This part, it pulled some of it away from the cone. And I like it when things like that happen when I'm on film, so I could show you how to fix those mistakes. For that, I just attach it and push it back to the wet clay, and you could even bring a little bit more down to help firm up the reattachment. If you feel like one area has too much, press down and slide it off. And that way it's more even. You could slide it up a little bit if it's come down too far. So we have a pretty good ice cream cone shape. You could bang it up a little bit. If it got a little bit set to the side, you can push it into a circle again.
I'm sorry.
So there we have a caramel fudge cone. This time when I marbled, the colors wanted to touch. Usually they don't touch so much. But like here, this could be the top of an ice cream scoop. That's very attractive. And actually this looks really nice and pretty. And if you didn't want the inside, you just pinch the outside closed. And then push that in a circle. And you roll them into a ball. But you can look at the top of the ball, you could rotate it and decide what you want your ice cream scoop to be like. Like this is very attractive and would make a very attractive top of an ice cream scoop. So this part would slide straight into the cone. Maybe that would even be better, like this. So you get a little bit more vanilla. And they're all different. Now what you want to do after you're done is glaze with a gloss glaze just the caramel ribbon parts and fudge parts. So let me show you some of these that have been done in the past. So there we go. But as you can see, each of them are slightly different. That one has a lot more caramely color. That one has more fudge. So they each come out a little bit different. This one's probably more like a real ice cream. And then I had a few that were more chocolatey with caramel ribbon instead of vanilla. And then this is the one that we just formed after baking it. Remember to varnish the caramel, and you are done. Thank you all for watching.